Welcome back to another episode of the Solomon Teaching Podcast, Unfiltered, where we are bringing you stories from everyday people from around the world to inspire you to live a life on purpose. So I have with me a guest that he and we talked last year on the Man Cave webisode series. Then I also had an opportunity to use some of his content on my audio podcast, and he inspired me, and I know that he's going to inspire you, Mr. Neal Owens. Welcome back to the Solomon Teaching Podcast. What's your story?
Thank you. Glad to be here. Well, my story is, faith and perseverance. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing I can tell anyone is to trust themselves, believe in themselves, and move forward. And when you believe in yourself, you go for it. And don't let anybody try to change you. Don't let anybody try to change your style. Yeah. It's the saying that I have as I started writing. There's a certain way that people like to write. They try to teach you this is the way you're supposed to write. You can't write that way. You can't write that. There's no correct way to do the right thing. Yeah. And I always use that example of Rick Barry, the way he shot free throws underhanded. It's the thing. And I've been blessed. It's my debut novel won 3 literary awards. And the follow-up has also won an award. Yeah. So I'm very blessed to have 2 books and both of them to be award-winning novels.
Yeah, man. Congratulations on that. And I know a little bit about you, but man, faith is something that we're all trying to grow with, man. So, what jump-started your faith?
Well, my faith got jump-started one morning. I woke up one morning and I was just a different person. I felt different. I remember the day was April 17th, 1979.
Wow.
Okay. I was 21 years old. Well, I was about to turn 21 years old. Yeah. And, I just woke up one morning and I was just a different person. And I just had a different faith. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw the same face, but I was a different person. And I had a focus on life and I had a focus on God and I was spiritually driven. Now, I think I might have shared this story before with you because at that young age, everything in life changed. I had to live off of faith. I had to trust in God. Yeah. And for 11 years, I left the workforce for 11 years. And I just trusted God and just lived off of faith. And everyone thought I was crazy. And my family, everyone. Everybody thought I was, a procrastinator and a parasite. Yeah. But I had a purpose and I trusted God, and I went through a lot. I read the Bible. I just went through a lot of spiritual learning. Yeah. And just like that, I focused back. It's like, okay, well, it came back to me now. It's time to go back. Just like a voice. It's time to go back into the workforce. And I did. And to show you the power of God, because I went back into the workforce in 1990. In 1991, there was this new facility that was built. I was working for the Metropolitan Police Boys and Girls Clubs. And they hired me to work at this new facility that they erected. It was a Mecca facility. So big was this facility and so important it was that the Queen of England visited that year, 1991. And I just had a little spot in the basement of the building. But 6 months later, I became the program director. And 6 months after that, I was in charge of the whole building.
Wow.
And then God just continued to work my career and I just continued to go through the process. And as you are a young person moving through the process, you have a lot of enemies, especially when you're young and you're being productive. And you got a lot of older people and you start passing them by. And there's a lot of envies, a lot of jealousies, a whole bunch of stuff that you have to overcome, So those are the challenges.
Yeah. So what do you say to people that might be listening? Because how long were you in your career?
I was 33 years, man. I worked with youth, at-risk youth, for 33 years.
33 years.
And then I said, hey, I wanted to follow my passion, which was writing, because I wrote my first book in the 5th grade. I said, I'm going to do this. I'm getting older. I want to focus on, I want to do this book. Yeah. And it's all about, it's a new adult. My writings is focused on new adults, millennials.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. So throughout your 33 years in your career doing purpose work and your faith journey, did you ever, encounter periods to where you wanted to give up, or you didn't feel the same drive that you did, or discouraged?
Absolutely. You feel discouraged. It doesn't last long though, but you feel it, because, you're going to feel it. You're going to have those moments where you have a doubtful mind. All these things are going to come into you. And that's when your faith kicks in, and then you just overcome it. But you're going to feel it. You're going to have doubt. I mean, I doubted lots of time. I mean, when I left the workforce for 11 years, man, I thought, I must be tripping or something.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem logical. Didn't seem like wise. But you have to. That's the thing about faith. You have to trust. You have to be rational. You have to be able to. It's something I say. You have to be able to answer every question before you can make a decision.
Yeah.
You have to be able to answer the question. When people pose a question to you, you got to be able to answer it.
Yeah.
If you can't, then you need to go back and reevaluate your belief.
Yeah. Man, yeah. What you talk about is just the power of doubt, and to say, because you've been doing this work for a long time. Like I told you before, man, I'm praying that I can say I have a career, over 10 years. I think it's a blessing that you're able to do that, and then you finding you even still, after having a 30-year career where you most certainly earned to go sit down and rest, you still found even different purpose. And I think that's why I try to encourage people that, like, our purpose, while it may be the same, is always evolving, man. It's always evolving during different seasons. So speaking of purpose, tell us about your books.
Okay. My books, they are, the first book, the debut novel, is called Mirrors of Life. And what is your life in the mirror? And it vividly explores the contemporary experiences of Black people in America through the emotional tale of a mother and her children. Yeah. And it's a tale of faith and perseverance. That leads to intrigue when her ambitious and spiritually inclined son, Derek, attempts to build a civic-minded conglomerate that undercuts the inflated retail and gas prices set by the business powers that be in America. So he sets forth, his dream is to build Black Wall Street nationwide. Yeah. He wants to empower Black communities. He's a young man at 25, this is his project. And so he encounters the business powers that be, and that's where it comes into. So part 2 is he realized that he needs political power to be able to sustain his business. And so he sets out, he finances, his mother spearheads it, but he sets out and he finances a nationwide grassroots voting initiative to change the leaderships in Congress and in the White House. Yeah. And their mission is, if you are the person, if you're making the laws, then it's your country. Yeah. So they go out with political power. They want to get young Black people in the office. Locally, school boards, city councils, mayors, state representatives, all of that. That's their mission. Wow. And of course, they encounter the business powers that be. Yeah. Yeah. And also people of their own race, right, who are also working against them.
And both your books have literary awards. And so how can people connect with you? How can people purchase those books and the work that you have going on now?
Yeah, the books are available online wherever books are sold. Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can also go to my website. If you want an autographed copy, you can go to my website and purchase the book. I'll send you an autographed copy. That's at www.owensbook.com. owenspublishing.com. But Mirrors of Life and Mirrors of Life Part 2, both of them are just two fantastic books, and they're definitely educationally, spiritually written for new adults, and new adults in the literary field is considered ages 18 to 29.
Yeah, yeah. And you've been dropping inspiration throughout this whole conversation through your story, and I appreciate you for sharing. And I know that our viewers are going to go link up with your books and learn and grow, especially because it's catered toward that new adult. But what are some final words of encouragement that you want to provide to millennials out there that are on this channel and they find themselves stuck, trying to move forward, trying to figure it out, and maybe they don't feel good about where they are. Maybe they feel lost. What words of encouragement would you share to that view?
There's a positive and negative side to everything in life. And that negative force is designed and set forth to prevent you from achieving your goal and what your ability is, what your God-given potential is. So you got to really sit down and examine yourself. Examine yourself and grow the strength there. Knowing oneself leads to knowing one's purpose, which leads to fulfilling one's life. So it's very important that you get that. When you building that inner strength, and you have to fight, because you're gonna be more. The faith has got to be increased. Your faith is gonna drop. Yeah. I mean, that's just natural. You just have your faith have to increase. You have that spirit, and you gotta, hey, this is you gotta trust and you got to believe. And if you don't believe, you can doubt, you can fall. Many have fallen because of that. Many have fallen because they had doubt and they lost faith and they lost confidence, and things got bad and they got stuck and they felt like, oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and give it us. And that you have to see something through the end, man. Yeah. You start something, see it through the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you again, Mr. Owens, for coming on the Solid Tissue Podcast Unfiltered. Thank you for sharing your story and inspiration. I know that our viewers are going to link up with you and follow the work that you're doing, and just keep doing good work. And thank you again. And we look forward to seeing all the amazing things that I know that you're going to continue to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Owens.
All right.